In the heart of the bustling city of Ethel, amidst the clang of hammers and the hiss of cooling steel, lived a blacksmith named Idris. His days were a familiar rhythm of fire, metal, and sweat. He was known for his skill, his strong arms, and the honest work he poured into every blade and horseshoe. But Idris felt a quiet yearning, a sense that his life was a song with a missing verse. He longed for something more, a purpose beyond the forge that defined his world. One sweltering afternoon, while clearing out a dusty corner of his late grandfather's workshop, his fingers brushed against something cold and smooth, buried beneath a pile of rusted tools. It was a seal, not of wax or clay, but carved from a stone that seemed to drink the light, a deep, starless black. An intricate spiral pattern, unlike any crest or sigil he'd ever seen, was etched into its surface. It felt ancient, heavy with secrets. Idris pocketed the strange object, a shiver running down his spine despite the heat of the forge. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had just stumbled upon something important. That night, sleep did not come easy. When it finally did, it brought with it a vivid, unsettling dream. He stood on a windswept cliff overlooking a churning grey sea. The mysterious seal was in his hand, now glowing with a soft, ethereal light. A voice, ancient and resonant like the striking of a great bell, echoed in his mind. It spoke not in words, but in feelings, a sense of impending change, of a great journey about to begin. It showed him visions of towering mountains, forgotten ruins, and a shadowy threat looming on the horizon. Idris awoke with a gasp, the dream's powerful imagery seared into his memory. The morning sun streamed through his window, but the world outside felt different, charged with a new and daunting potential. He looked at his calloused hands, the hands of a simple blacksmith, but the dream, the seal, they whispered of a different destiny. His life, once as predictable as the rising sun, was now an uncharted map. The adventure was just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you're excited to see where Idris's journey leads, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. See you soon.
If while listening to this story you feel fear and hope both inside you, then write in the comments the prayer of the oppressed is strong, because now the story is going to become deep. Earth night had become very deep. Streets of Basra city were deserted and there was a strange restlessness in the air. Idris could not sleep at night. Same dream kept repeating in his mind. Face of the luminous old man and his strange warning. Sat up and took out the seal to look at it. The moonlight lion engraved on the seal was shining at that same moment. Felt like someone was standing outside it. Looked out through the window. Two strangers were standing outside his house. There was both suspicion and strength in their eyes. Idris understood something wrong was about to happen. In the morning, when he went to light his furnace, those same two strangers came to him. One of them said, "Idris Vizier Murad Khan has called you." Idris's heart stopped for a moment, but he asked calmly, "Why has he called me?" The stranger said, "We don't know, just come with us." Idris, inside, and said to his mother, "Mother, pray for me and the thing I have hidden, do not give it to anyone." There was fear in his mother's eyes, but she said with courage, "Allah will protect you." Idris left with those strangers. Streets kept disappearing behind him and the palace kept coming closer. Inside the palace, Idris was seated in a large room. Walls of the room were high on. There was a strange silence in the air. After some time, Vizier Murad Khan entered. His eyes were sharp and there was a cold smile on his face. He said, "Idris, he heard you found something." Idris said in a calm voice, "Your Highness, I am poor, but I do not lie." The vizier's smile became deeper. Said, I am talking as a friend of me that seal you will get gold, so much gold that you have never seen in your life. Idris thought for a moment and said, Your Highness, have no seal. The vizier's face became hard. Signaladin to spies came forward and grabbed Idris. The vizier said, You will get the night to think. It will be better if your answer changes. By morning, Idris was locked in a dark room. There was only darkness in the room and the sound of his breathing. Idris leaned against the wall and started remembering Allah. In his heart there were no tears. His eyes suddenly trust. Night grew deeper. Again saw the same dreamed luminous old man said, Do not be afraid. A path will open before morning. When he woke up in the morning, light was coming from under the door. Saw in the back wall of the room own brick was slightly pushed out. Slowly removed that brick pint. It was a narrow passage which led to the back side of the palace. Idris was a blacksmith. His hands were strong. Crawled through that narrow passage and came out. The cold morning air touched his face, but he knew vizier's men would now chase him. Did not go to his home first because he was worried about his mother, and he was also worried about the seal. But now he understood this was not just a game of wealth. This was a battle of power and oppression, and now the real game of the story had begun.
If, while listening to this story, you feel both fear and hope stirring inside you, then write in the comments, The prayer of the oppressed is strong, because now the story is about to get much deeper. The night had grown very deep. The streets of Basra city were deserted, and a strange restlessness hung in the air. Idris couldn't sleep that night. The same dream kept replaying in his mind, the face of the luminous old man and his strange warning. He sat up and took out the seal to look at it. In the moonlight, the lion engraved on the seal seemed to glow. At that very moment, he felt like someone was standing outside. Peeking through the window, he saw two strangers standing outside his house. Their eyes held both suspicion and strength. Idris understood something wrong was about to happen. In the morning, as he went to light his furnace, those same two strangers approached him. One of them said, Idris, Vizier Murad Khan has summoned you. Idris's heart stopped for a moment, but he asked calmly, Why has he called me? The stranger replied, We don't know. Just come with us. Idris went inside and told his mother, Mother, pray for me. And the thing I have hidden, do not give it to anyone. Fear filled his mother's eyes, but she said with courage, Allah will protect you. Idris left with the strangers. The streets disappeared behind him as the palace loomed closer. Inside the palace, Idris was seated in a large room. The walls were high, and a strange silence filled the air. After some time, Vizier Murad Khan entered. His eyes were sharp, and a cold smile played on his face. He said, Idris, I heard you found something. Idris replied in a calm voice, Your Highness, I am poor, but I do not lie. The vizier's smile deepened. I am talking to you as a friend. Give me that seal. You will get gold. So much gold that you have never seen in your life. Idris thought for a moment, then said, Your Highness, I have no seal. The vizier's face hardened. He signaled, and two guards came forward and grabbed Idris. The vizier said, You have the night to think. It will be better if your answer changes by morning. Idris was locked in a dark room. There was only darkness and the sound of his own breathing. He leaned against the wall and started remembering God in his heart. There were no tears in his eyes, only trust. The night grew deeper and he saw the same dream again. The luminous old man said, Do not be afraid. A path will open before morning. When he woke up, light was seeping from under the door. He noticed that in the back wall of the room, one brick was slightly pushed out. He slowly removed that brick. Behind it was a narrow passage leading to the back of the palace. Idris was a blacksmith. His hands were strong. He crawled through that narrow passage and came out. The cold morning air touched his face, but he knew the vizier's men would now be chasing him. He didn't go to his home first, worried about his mother and the seal. But now he understood this was not just a game of wealth. This was a battle of power and oppression. And now, the real game of the story had begun.